My wife's old friend, David, mentioned that his head was cold. Before I could even react, my wife Clara snatched the hat directly off my head and placed it on his. I felt a sharp, stinging pain on my scalp where my hair had been torn. She then turned back to me and casually handed me a $20 bill, telling me to go buy myself another one from a street stall. I just stood there, looking at the money. That $20 felt like the final buyout for our entire 5-year marriage. Clara posted a picture of the New Year's Eve dinner David had prepared for her social media feed. The caption read, "After all these years, David's cooking hasn't changed a bit. Tastes like home." This was unusual. Clara rarely posted online, maybe once a year, if that, and when she did, it seemed it was always about David. A little while later, David posted his own photo. It showed him, his son Leo, and Clara, all smiling together. "Home is wherever you are," he wrote. "A family of 3, forever and always." The words felt sharp as I read them. Clenching my jaw, I just hit the like button. A moment later, my phone was ringing. It was Clara. "Sam, what is wrong with you?" she asked. "Do you have to ruin things when people are trying to have a nice family get-together?" "David just posted something, that's all. Did you have to go and upset him? Can't you just let people enjoy the holiday in peace?" I could hear David's muffled voice in the background. "It's okay, Clara. I'm used to it. I know Sam doesn't like me. As long as Sam's not mad, I can go to him and apologize." Clara immediately went to comfort him. "You're just too nice. That's why people walk all over you. His stomach's been bothering him lately, so he's been cranky. Don't pay him any mind." And just like that, I was left hanging, listening to the empty line. I don't know how long it was before she finally hung up. I sat there at the dining table, phone in hand, just staring. The food I'd made was completely cold by now. It was New Year's Eve, a night for families to be together. I was all alone, forcing down the cold dishes, trying to ignore the knot in my stomach. The next morning, New Year's Day, I woke up with a jolt, even though fireworks are banned in the city. I reached over to the other side of the bed. The sheets were cold. Clara hadn't come home last night. She had spent the night at David's. Even though I had braced myself for it, a dull ache throbbed in my chest. Ever since David and his son moved back to town, Clara had been coming home in the early hours of the morning, if she came home at all. It reminded me of the day we lost our baby. I called her over a dozen times. She didn't pick up once. My heart was breaking. By the time I found out a friend had taken her to the hospital, our last chance was gone. We were married for 5 years. We tried everything to have a child. I went with her to appointments, helped her with treatments, the shots, the medications. When we finally got our one big chance, I begged her to stay home with me. She promised. But one phone call from David, and she was scrambling for the door. I was on the verge of a breakdown, grabbing her hand and begging her not to go. "Clara, I feel so sick inside," I told her. But all she said was, "The doctor said you just need to manage your emotions. Nothing will happen." I pleaded with her again and again, but she started to get impatient. "Sam, you can't be so petty. David needs me. I have to go to him." She ripped her hand from my grasp, turned and slammed the door behind her without a second glance. The baby was gone. I called her, but her phone went straight to voicemail. In that moment, I lost all hope. The sound of the front door closing snapped me out of my thoughts. Clara was back. "You haven't eaten yet, right? I brought you back some food." She opened a container. It was obviously the leftovers from her New Year's Eve dinner with David. My appetite vanished. Seeing that I wasn't moving, Clara's tone immediately soured. Sam, I didn't come home to look at your long face. I sighed. I'm just not hungry. Clara shoved a pair of chopsticks into my hand, trying to force me to eat their leftovers. If that's the case, then eat. Don't waste the kind gesture from me and David. He even carefully heated it up for you. When I still didn't touch the chopsticks, her elegant brows furrowed in displeasure. If you're going to be this childish, you can go to your parents' house by yourself the day after tomorrow. David's building a house back in his hometown, and I'm going to go see if he needs any help. Clara went into the study for a while. When she came out, she saw the food on the table was untouched. She immediately dragged me from the kitchen, where I was making noodles, and pulled me in front of the fridge. If you don't want to eat it, fine, but you could at least put David's food in the refrigerator. As she said it, she pulled open the fridge door and saw it was full of containers of the New Year's Eve dinner I had packed up. Some of the dishes hadn't even been touched. Braised meatballs, garlic shrimp, steamed sea bass. Every single one was her favorite. The anger on Clara's face vanished, and her voice softened. You made all this? I nodded. Yeah. Clara took the dishes I'd made out of the fridge. Well, since you already made them, it would be a waste not to eat them. I'll finish them over the next couple of days. She took the food into the kitchen to heat it up, putting the dishes from David into the fridge. I'll pack up David's food and take it to the office to eat. Hearing that, the knot in my chest that had just started to loosen tightened again. Watching Clara busy in the kitchen, I thought about the picture David had posted that morning. Clara was wearing an apron, also bustling around a kitchen, making breakfast. The caption read, "Another happy day." Just as Clara put the reheated food on the table, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to see David and his son, Leo. The moment Leo saw Clara, he ran and threw himself into her arms. "Mama Clara, you promised you'd take me to the winter festival today." David, acting as if I wasn't even there, put on a weak facade. "Clara, I couldn't stop him. He was crying and screaming for you, so I had to bring him over." Clara happily picked Leo up and pinched his cheek. "Of course Mama would never break a promise to you." Mama. A sharp, twisting pain shot through my heart. I thought of the child we had waited for so long, the child we lost. Clara never even offered me a single word of comfort, and now she was eagerly playing mom to David's son. But before I could say a word, David suddenly slumped over and bowed deeply to me. "Sam, I know you're still angry with me. If you're going to blame someone, blame me. The child is innocent." Clara immediately rushed to pull David up, glaring at me. "Sam, have you had enough? Who's that scowl for on New Year's Day? He's just a kid. Are you really going to pick a fight with a child?" Leo burst into tears, clinging tightly to Clara's neck. "Mama, I'm scared. I'll never ask to see you again, I promise. Boo-hoo." Clara quickly soothed him, then shot me a cold glance. "If you want to go to the festival, you can just follow behind us. It's not like we're forbidding you from coming." Seeing the three of them standing together, the man and woman comforting the child, they looked exactly like a family. In my own home, I was the outsider. I gave a bitter smile. "You guys go ahead." David put a hand on my shoulder. "Come on, Sam. The more the merrier." When I didn't respond, Clara's face hardened. "David is asking you to come. Why are you being so difficult?" At her words, David's eyes immediately reddened. He covered his mouth, tears welling up. "It's okay. I'll just take Leo home. We won't bother you." Clara panicked. Right in front of me, she expertly pulled David's head onto her shoulder to comfort him. "Don't say that, David. It's my duty to take care of you. I promised Sarah I would. Then her voice dropped as she spoke to me. Sam, don't let my dead friend down. Clara linked her arm with David's and practically dragged me to the parking garage. Once there, David smoothly opened the passenger side door and got in, leaving me to sit in the back with Leo. It wasn't until Clara started the car that David turned around, feigning surprise. Oh, Sam, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have sat here. I'll get out and switch with you right now. He put his hand on the door handle. Clara turned the steering wheel. The doors are locked. Just stay there, David. We're all family. There's no need for all that fuss. During the entire drive, I watched Clara and David chat happily. Even sitting in their seats, their bodies were leaned close together, looking intimate. The car was filled with the sound of David's hearty laughter, and every time, it was followed by Clara's bright, clear laugh. It was a knife to my heart. In 5 years of marriage, I had never once seen Clara smile at me like that. When we got to the winter festival, David started rubbing his hands together, complaining he was cold. Without a moment's hesitation, Clara took his hands, brought them to her lips, and blew on them. Warmer now? David shook his head, pretending to be shy. Much warmer. Clara's gaze fell on the fleece hat I was wearing. Sam, let David wear your hat. You're healthy. You'll be fine without it for a day. I instinctively reached up and touched my hat. I'd been susceptible to the cold ever since I got really sick last year. Clara had bought me this hat at the beginning of winter. Today was the first time I'd worn it. It hadn't even fully warmed my head before she was demanding I give it away. David's shoulders trembled, his face a mask of pitiful innocence. It's nothing, really. It's just an old problem I got from bringing Sarah food in the winter. As he said it, he let out a dramatic sneeze. Clara reached over and yanked the hat right off my head. She tore out a clump of my hair with it. I gasped in pain. Clara, what are you doing? You're pulling my hair! But she was completely unbothered. It's just a hat. Why are you acting like I'm trying to kill you? She shook the hat out, and my hair, which she'd just ripped from my scalp, fell to the ground. She ground it into the dirty snow with her heel until it was just part of the slush, indistinguishable. After putting the hat on David's head, Clara carefully adjusted it for him. Warmer now? A blush appeared on David's cheeks as he nodded. So warm. Thank you. A cold wind blew, and a dull ache started in my head. I said to Clara, Honey, can you buy me another hat? My head is starting to hurt. Clara glanced at me, pulled out her phone, and sent me a $20 transfer. See if you can find something at one of the stalls. Better to wear something than catch a cold, and have me take care of you. She had completely forgotten about the last time I was sick. My nose stung, and my eyes began to water. Clara, I'm your husband. Clara picked up Leo and took David's hand. I never said you weren't. Are you really going to throw a tantrum on New Year's Day? How unlucky is that? Are we going to enjoy this festival or not? I tilted my head back, let out a hot breath, and forced the tears back. I walked past them and kept going. Behind me, I heard Clara comforting David. Don't mind him. He's always like this, so petty. The tears wouldn't stop. Hot drops rolled down my cheeks, but Clara didn't see. She was still laughing and playing around with David. David ran up beside me, turning to throw snowballs at Clara and Leo behind us, having the time of his life. Watch out! Clara screamed. Before I could react, I saw her shove me aside to catch David as he pretended to slip. I stumbled sideways into a fried food stand. The deep fryer tipped over. I hit the ground, and a wave of boiling oil washed over me. A searing, tearing pain shot through my neck. I screamed, writhing in agony on the ground. "Clara, help me! It hurts so much!" But Clara acted like I was a disease, grabbing Leo and scrambling away. I watched her back retreat, tears streaming down my face, feeling nothing but despair. Finally, the pain was too much, and I passed out. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a hospital bed. Seeing I was awake, Clara said, her eyes red, "Sam, you're finally awake." My throat was so dry, it felt like it was on fire. Clara said, "Thank God it's winter and you were wearing thick clothes. Only the skin on your neck was burned." Something felt wrong. Just then, a doctor came in and glanced at Clara. "Mr. Evans, I'm very sorry, but due to the damage from this accident, you will have a permanent scar on your neck." My mouth fell open in shock. In my mind, I had already made a decision. I said nothing, just slowly pushed her hand away. I forced myself to stay calm. My voice trembled as I spoke. "Clara, let's get a divorce." Clara froze. "Sam, are you delirious from the fever?" I shook my head. "I've never been more clear." She gripped my hand. "Sam, the most important thing right now is for you to get better. Don't think about nonsense." I pulled my hand back, my expression cold. "You can go now." Clara refused. "I know this is when you're at your weakest. I'm not going to leave you. I'll stay by your side, always and forever." Just then, Clara's phone suddenly rang. It was David. Clara shot to her feet, her voice tense. "What? Leo's terrified? I'll be right there." She left without a second glance. I leaned back against the headboard and slowly closed my eyes. A tear slid from the corner of my eye. It was the last tear I would ever shed for this marriage. During my entire hospital stay, Clara never once came to see me. The day before I was discharged, she finally showed up, carrying a thermos of soup. "Sam, David caught a cold these past few days, so I couldn't come see you. Please don't be mad." I replied calmly, "I'm not mad." Before, I probably would have demanded to know if she had any room for me in her heart, maybe even started a huge fight. But not this time. My calmness seemed to stun her. "I know you're still angry about what happened, but I already explained it to you. David didn't do it on purpose." Even now, she was still defending him. If David hadn't deliberately slipped right next to me, Clara wouldn't have pushed me, and none of the rest would have happened. Our chance to have our own child wouldn't be gone. Thinking of that, I suppressed my emotions and took a deep breath to calm down. Seeing my cold attitude, Clara sighed. "David has a follow-up appointment at the hospital today. I had to bring him his soup, so I thought I'd stop by and see you." She was only here to see me because it was convenient. In Clara's heart, there was only room for David, and the soup she was protecting so carefully was also made for him. When I didn't say anything, Clara reached out and stroked my hair. "I promise I'll come pick you up when you're discharged, okay?" I turned my head slightly. "I'm tired." Clara was taken aback. I had never said those two words to her before. On the contrary, Clara often used them to end our conversations. After we lost the baby, I tried to talk to her many times, asking her to spend more time with me, to try to save our marriage, our relationship, by keeping her distance from David. But every time, Clara would just say, "I'm tired." It left me feeling completely helpless. I was fighting to save our marriage, treasuring what we had. But Clara refused to communicate, time and time again. The moment I tried to tell her how hurt I was, she would say, "Why are you so petty? It's not easy for David raising a child on his own." I could sympathize with David's difficulties, but who was there to sympathize with me? Seeing my icy demeanor, Clara had no choice but to say, Get some rest. Try to be more open-minded, and don't hold a grudge against anyone." With that, she picked up her thermos and walked out of the room without looking back. On the day of my discharge, Clara came to pick me up. She carried my duffel bag, walking ahead of me, talking to David on the phone the whole time. She never once glanced back at me. When we got to the parking garage, she tossed my bag onto the passenger seat, started the car, and drove about 30 feet away. I stood there, watching her car get smaller and smaller. Her mind was completely on David. She had forgotten I was even standing next to her. I don't know how long passed before Clara turned the car around and came back. She rushed out and reached for me. "Sam, I'm so sorry. I forgot you hadn't gotten in the car." I took a step back, keeping a distance between us. "It's fine. I can get a cab home." She slapped herself on the head, full of regret. "It's all my fault. I was so busy talking to David. Leo just asked when I was coming home, and I completely forgot about you." I opened the car door and said flatly, "Get in." The second Clara opened the door to our home, David, wearing an apron, walked over with a huge smile, like he was the man of the house. "Oh, Sam's here. Quick, come in and sit down." I looked around, then glanced at the number on the door. It was definitely my house, so why did it feel like I had walked into David's? Leo ran over and hugged Clara's leg. "Mommy, you're finally back. I don't know the words in my book. Can you teach me?" Clara picked him up. "Of course, sweetie. Mommy will teach you in a little bit. Let's get Uncle Sam settled in first." David patted Leo's head. "Leo, you're a big boy now. You can't always be clinging to Mommy. We don't want outsiders to laugh." I let out a self-deprecating laugh. In this house, I was the outsider. David naturally took the duffel bag from Clara and casually dropped it on the floor in a corner. "Sorry, the place is a bit of a mess. I've been sick the last few days and haven't had a chance to clean up." Clara, noticing my expression, quickly explained. "While you were in the hospital, David and Leo both got sick. To make it easier to take care of them, I had them move in here." It wasn't a discussion. It was an announcement. Worse, it was done without asking. Before I could say anything, David spoke up. He grabbed my hand, his eyes red. "Sam, this is my fault. Don't blame Clara. She was just really worried about us. If you're going to be angry with me. Please don't let me hurt the bond between you two." As he spoke, he suddenly tried to kneel in front of me, but I grabbed him and held him up. "Sam, I'll kowtow to you and beg for forgiveness. Please don't be mad at Clara, okay? You can hit me, you can yell at me, I won't complain at all. But Leo is still so young, he couldn't finish his sentence before the tears started falling. He covered his mouth, the picture of blameless misery. Clara pulled him up. "What nonsense are you talking about? Who would dare kick you out? You and Leo will live here from now on. We have plenty of rooms. It's just a matter of setting 2 more places at the table." David's gaze shifted to me. "But Sam," Clara cut in. "He won't have a problem with it. I'm the one in charge of this house." David buried his head in Clara's chest, sobbing quietly. I didn't say a word. I just walked over to the corner, picked up my duffel bag, and headed for the master bedroom. That's when I realized the master bedroom had been completely transformed. Our wedding photo, which had been on the headboard, was gone. The picture of Clara and me on the nightstand was gone too. In its place was a photo of Clara with David and his son. I opened the closet. Of course, it was filled with David's clothes. All of my clothes were gone. Even my watch showed signs of having been worn by someone else. Clara shielded David behind her, as if afraid I was about to attack him. I spoke calmly. "Where did you move my clothes?" Clara looked at me, stunned, I put them in the guest room for you. My clothes and all my things had been moved into the smallest guest room, the one we normally used for storing junk. David said, "Sam, I'm so sorry. I didn't know this guest room was used for storage. I'll clean it up for you right away." Clara stopped him. "Sam, I was the one who let David have the master bedroom. He just recovered from a cold, and the master is quieter, and the bed is big enough for him and his son." That mattress. I had spent ages picking out that specific one. I remember how happy Clara and I were after we made the bed, holding hands and falling onto the soft mattress together. And now, without my permission, she had let another man sleep on it. This house was no longer my home. I called my best friend, Ben, and asked him to pick me up. Clara gripped my duffel bag, refusing to let go. "Sam, what is this? I brought you home from the hospital and you're still going to throw a fit?" I just let go, abandoning the bag. Clara screamed in anger. "Sam, how long are you going to keep this up?" Ben grabbed my arm. "Why are you wasting your breath on this woman? Let's go." Without another look at Clara, I put my arm around Ben's shoulder and walked away. Clara shouted after me, "Sam, you're going to regret this." As I stepped into the elevator, Clara's expression changed and she started to run after me. But David grabbed her arm. "Clara, my head hurts a little." Clara hesitated for 2 seconds, then stopped. "It's cold outside. Let's go back in. You don't want to catch another cold." The moment the elevator doors closed, I knew. My marriage to Clara was over. Once I was settled in at Ben's place, I called my lawyer, Mr. Harrison. "I want a divorce. Could you please draft the papers for me?" Clara called me several times, but I didn't answer. So she started bombarding me with texts. "Sam, I can forgive you for what happened today, but only if you come home. If you just come back, we can talk things out. We're both adults. Can you stop being so childish? I know you're still mad at David, but like I said, it has nothing to do with him. If you have to blame someone, blame me." I have nothing to say. Even now, Clara had the same attitude. Whenever I used to complain, even slightly, that she was getting too close to David, she would say, "Think whatever you want. I have nothing to say." No communication, no discussion. That was her way. I didn't know when this cycle would ever end. I was completely disheartened. Now, leaving that cold, empty house felt like escaping a prison that had held me for 5 years. I felt a wave of relief. After that, I didn't see Clara for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, she texted me, and I didn't reply. She called me, and I didn't answer. I wasn't holding a grudge. I simply had no desire to deal with her. After all, that's exactly how she used to treat me. She had a bouquet of flowers sent to me every day. A few months ago, I would have been so happy I wouldn't have been able to sleep. But now, seeing those flowers just felt cheap and tacky. After I had them sent back multiple times, Clara started to panic. She flooded my phone with texts. "Husband, it's all my fault. Please don't be mad at me anymore, okay? Honey, please come back. Every time I come home, I'm all alone. I've been making dinner and waiting for you, but I always end up eating leftovers. I already sent David and Leo home. Please come back." No one to leave a light on for her. No one to have dinner waiting when she got home. Clara was finally getting a taste of her own medicine. But what was that, really? The hurt she caused me was so much more than this. The texts from Clara were endless. I didn't have the patience to read them all. Finally, I couldn't take the harassment anymore and just blocked her number. And just like that, my world was quiet. That night, a heavy rain began to fall. Went to the window to close it, and I saw Clara getting out of her car. She didn't have an umbrella. The rain soaked her completely. "Honey, come home with me. I know I was wrong. Please just forgive me this one time. I swear I'll only ever treat you right from now on. Sam, I love you." Clara was a complete mess, drenched to the bone. But I felt nothing. I just gave her a detached glance and quietly closed the window, shutting out her cries. The rain fell harder. I sat on the sofa, reading a book. Clara didn't give up. "Honey, please come home with me. I really know I was wrong." Finally, she actually got on her knees. "Sam, come home. This family can't go on without you." As she spoke, her eyes reddened. She wailed her repentance there on the street below my window. Many of the neighbors came to their windows to watch the show. Nearly every light in the building across the street was on. Everyone was watching her. Everyone except me. I just kept reading my book. I knew how cold a winter rain could be. I had once stood in a winter downpour outside David's building, begging Clara to come home. But Clara had closed her window and ignored me. She left me to freeze in the wind and rain. I ended up getting sick, and she never took care of me for a single day. After midnight, after 4 hours of kneeling, Clara couldn't hold on any longer and collapsed into a puddle on the street. The building security had tried to get her to leave several times. In the end, they had to call 911 for her. Clara was sick. She made sure I heard it through the grapevine. I knew she wanted me to visit her in the hospital. I bought a bag of fruit and pushed open her hospital room door. Clara was alone. "David didn't come to take care of you?" I asked. The moment Clara heard my voice, her eyes went red. I didn't let him know I was in the hospital. I put the fruit on the nightstand. "I came here today because there's something important I need to talk to you about." Clara frowned, as if she knew what was coming. She quickly changed the subject. "Honey, I'd love some fruit. My mouth is so dry." When I didn't move, she quickly got out of bed. She took the fruit to be washed. Watching her bustle around, I said, "You know I like it peeled." Clara nodded eagerly. "I know. I'll peel it right away." She was so careful, glancing at my face from time to time. Just like I used to wait on her, she cut the fruit into small pieces and held it out to me. "Honey, have some fruit." In our 5 years of marriage, this was the first time she had ever done this. When she saw me eat the fruit, Clara took my hand. "Honey, I know your bark is worse than your bite. You couldn't possibly stand by and watch me be sick and alone. I swear from now on I will only be good to you. I'll keep my distance from David too. I won't break your heart again." I gently pulled my hand away. I took the divorce papers out of my bag and placed them in front of her. "When you have a moment in the next few days, please sign these." Clara's eyes widened in disbelief. It took a long moment for her to process it. "Honey, I think we can talk about this." I spoke calmly. "There's nothing left to talk about." There was a time I wanted to talk, but she never gave me the chance. Now she wanted to talk, but she had used up all the love I had for her. Clara grabbed my hands. "What do you mean, nothing? We've been married for 5 years. Can you really just throw away all that time?" I nodded. "At this point, there's nothing I couldn't do. Leaving you is something I'm determined to do." Clara looked at me in terror, tears streaming down her face again. "No, you love me too much. You could never let me go." I shook my head again. "Clara, I don't love you anymore." She froze, her lips trembling. Her knees buckled, and she fell to the floor. "Honey, please don't leave me. I've realized my mistakes these past few weeks. I'll spend the rest of my life proving to you that you're the only one in my heart. As long as you don't leave me, as long as you don't divorce me, I'll do anything." I didn't help her up. I just looked down at her, towering over her. "Get up," Clara said resolutely. "No, I won't get up. If you don't forgive me, I'll kneel here forever." I sighed. The moment your heart chose David, our relationship was over. Clara grabbed my pant leg. Honey, you've misunderstood. Nothing ever happened between me and David. I laughed. None of that matters anymore. Clara broke down, screaming. How can it not matter? I never betrayed you. Why do you want to divorce me? I know you're still angry about what happened before, but since it already happened, I'll face it with you. We're still young. We can adopt a child later. Are you divorcing me just because we can't have children? I once swore I would take care of you for the rest of my life. I can't break my promise. When she had vented all her emotions, the room fell silent. I said calmly, "It's a shame you already broke your promise." That shut her up. She was speechless. I stood up and said to the kneeling woman on the floor, "I hope the next time you contact me, it's because you've signed the divorce papers." Clara, still on her knees, shuffled forward and wrapped her arms around my legs. "Honey, I won't sign them. I won't let you leave me." I pulled my leg free with a slight effort. "If you won't sign, then we'll settle it in court." Seeing my firm stance, Clara shook her head, unable to accept it. "Sam, you'll regret leaving me." I walked to the door, then turned back to her. "If I don't divorce you, I'll regret it for the rest of my life." Clara collapsed onto the floor, watching helplessly as I left. 2 weeks passed. Clara still hadn't signed the divorce papers. When I called her, she always used work as an excuse. She refused to sign. I told her, "Since you won't sign, I'll see you in court." Clara asked me, "Honey, can we please not get a divorce?" My voice was ice cold. "I'm giving you 1 more week." I hung up the phone. But Clara was dead set on not divorcing me. Finally, I took a copy of the papers to her office. "Still not going to sign?" Clara looked panicked. "Honey, I don't want a divorce." I placed a pen on her desk. "It's right here. Read it line by line. If there's anything you're not happy with, we can discuss changing it." Clara looked pained, her hands clasped together, begging me. "Sam, I really don't want a divorce. I love you. For the sake of our years of marriage, can you please give me 1 more chance? I've thought it over these past few days, and I can't divorce you. If I lose you, what's the point of living?" With that, she tore the divorce papers into pieces and threw them in the trash right in front of me. I calmly took another copy of the papers from my bag and placed them on the desk. "No matter how many copies you tear up, I can always print more." Clara broke down, clutching her head. "Sam, I'm begging you, please stop pushing me." I laughed coldly. For all these years, who was the one pushing whom? If it weren't for her, would my marriage have turned into this? My voice was calm as I said, "Clara, there's no going back for us. Because I don't love you anymore. I just want a divorce." In the end, Clara signed the papers. Holding the signed divorce agreement, I stood outside her office building. I looked up at the sky. In that moment, the sky seemed clearer than it had ever been. The weight that had been pressing on my heart was finally gone. When I left, Clara was a sobbing, pathetic mess. I had never seen her cry so heartbrokenly. I didn't know if she was crying for our failed marriage or for losing me. After the 1-month cooling-off period, Clara and I met at the courthouse. David had his arm possessively linked with Clara's. He smiled at me and said, "Sam, long time no see." When Clara saw me, she raised her arm and deliberately pulled her hand away from his. David was left hanging, looking incredibly awkward. Clara, still not giving up, asked me, "Sam, can we please not get a divorce?" I answered coldly, "No." Seeing my resolute attitude, David smirked. He urged Clara to go sign the papers and get the certificate. The clerk said, "You can sign right here." I picked up the pen and quickly signed my name. Clara was still hesitating. David nudged her. "Clara, Leo is waiting for you to go home. We have to go to Sarah's grave to pay our respects." Clara bit her lip and finally put the pen down. The smile on David's face instantly froze. Then I heard Clara say, "I love Sam. I don't want to divorce him." I looked at her calmly. "Clara, I don't love you. And don't make me lose respect for you too." In the end, Clara signed. The moment I had the divorce certificate in my hand, I let out a long breath. It took me just 2 months to end a 5-year marriage. I no longer had to worry about who Clara was spending the night with, or who she was celebrating the holidays with. After getting the certificate, I didn't say another word to her. I walked straight for the main entrance. David put a hand to his forehead. "Oh, Clara, I feel so dizzy." This time Clara didn't pay any attention to him. Instead, she ran after me. Even when David grabbed her clothes to stop her, she decisively shook his hand off. She ran up to me. "Sam, can we still see each other in the future?" I shook my head. "I don't think there's any need for us to see each other again. Let's just go our separate ways." Clara blocked my path, pleading. "Sam, don't be like this. I agreed to all your terms in the divorce papers. I gave you the house and the car. I just wanted you to remember the good things I did for you, to let me see you more." I looked up at her. "Clara, I can do without those things. You gave them to me. I didn't ask for them." I had never asked her for anything. Everything I did for her, I did willingly. But in her eyes, it was all just something she was entitled to. She took my kindness, my love, for granted, and never knew how to cherish it. Clara's voice choked as she asked, "Can I call you?" Right in front of her, I blocked all of her contact information. "Clara, from now on, we go our separate ways. That's it." I turned and walked away without a second glance, leaving Clara standing there, lost and heartbroken. 1 year later, I had found someone new. My fiancée, Emily, and I were walking hand in hand down the street when we saw Clara and David having a heated argument. David sat down on the ground, hysterical. "I should have known better than to get with used goods like you. Look at the life we're living now. You won't even buy me a designer watch. There was a reason Sam divorced you." Hearing this, Clara exploded. "It's all because of you. If it wasn't for you, Sam and I would never have divorced." Leo bit Clara's hand. Clara, in pain, shoved Leo to the ground. Cody started crying and screaming. "You're nothing like my real mommy. You don't deserve to be my mom. You're a bad person." David hugged Leo, wailing. "Clara, how could you lay a hand on a child? Have you forgotten Sarah?" Before he could finish, Clara cut him off. "Stop threatening me with Sarah all the time. I told you I would never marry you. You're the one who wouldn't leave me alone. In my heart, until the day I die, I will only ever love Sam." Then, David and Clara started fighting physically. They wrestled and grappled, somehow ending up in the middle of the street. Together, they knocked over a food stall's deep fryer. The hot oil splashed all over both of them. It was summer, and they were both wearing short sleeves. Large patches of exposed skin were instantly scalded and blistered. Screams and wails filled the air. I couldn't help but think, what goes around comes around. Today was also my birthday. Emily gave me an exquisite watch. At the same time, she pushed a small gift box toward me. I opened it excitedly. Inside was a pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. Underneath was an ultrasound report. The blood test confirmed she was pregnant. I hugged Emily excitedly, a laugh escaping my lips. "Emily, we're going to be parents."
Proprio tu. Ok, ciao. Oh, hai una faccia.
Oh, per pietà, lasciami stare. Oh, vi prego.
Non neanche l'ultima
Oh,
volta
vi
faceva
prego.
così. Vabbè. Niente. Non abbiamo altri NPC. Magica spara di lurco quando posso, ma scrivo poco. Va bene, ma tranquillo. Tranquillo, bettone. Grazie per il lurchino. Allora. Vorrei... Sento passo. Vorrei esplorare di più. Perché... Uno... C'è una fucking intera città. Però ho fatto Parl. Porco Giuda. Cioè sì, tutto bello, bellissimo. Curiamoci perché quello mi tira un cazzotto e mi shot. Che stavolta no.